Good morning, my friends. This is the 44th day that we have been sheltering at home here in Georgia, only going out for groceries or supplies, but spending our time here with the three of us and with Chester and Wandaloo, our cats. It's given us a lot of time to reflect and read and write, and also a lot of time to check in with people in my parish. I'm a simple parish priest, and I miss my people very, very much. 44 days is a long time. I try to look on the bright side of things most days, but to be honest, I'm running low on jelly beans and chocolate, and I don't want to have to go back to the grocery store just for those. I wanted to write on this Friday and send you into the weekend with a little reflection to ponder. And I want to start by reading to you this particular passage from Philippians. As we reflect this morning on what stirred up in me when I woke up first thing this morning was this obsession that we have with taking. That's what I want to look at this morning, this obsession with taking. So I'm going to read this to you. It's from Philippians chapter 2. If then there is any encouragement in Christ, any consolation from love, any sharing in the Spirit, any compassion and sympathy, make my joy complete. Be of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility regard others as better than yourselves. Let each of you look not to your own interests, but to the interests of others. Let the same mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus, who, though he was in the form of God, did not regard equality with God as something to be exploited, but emptied himself, taking the form of a slave, being born in human likeness, and being found in human form, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross. I'm very frustrated, as I know that many of you are, with trying to make sense of decisions that are supposedly being made on our behalf and for our good. And I want to reflect this morning on our obsession with taking, laying it alongside this phenomenal and convicting challenge from the book of Philippians, that I think if we could boil the essence of what it means to have a Christian posture down, this is what it would look like. To not look to our own interests, but to look to the interests of others, to put others before ourselves. We seem to be obsessed in this culture with taking. We've taken a lot, those of us who are white and in positions of power through the years. We've taken land, we've taken people, we've taken resources. We seem to have taken anything we can get our hands on. And so many politicians around us this morning seem to be absolutely obsessed with taking credit. I don't see a lot of people being willing, being vulnerable enough to take blame or to even take an honest approach to saying, I don't have the answer to that question, but I will stand alongside you as a fellow human being. That doesn't seem to be a popular thing these days. We seem obsessed with taking credit, and when we can't rightly take credit because we actually made a choice that was right, we'll denigrate others around us to make them look worse, so that in their own being shoved down, we feel like we're still king of the mountain. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it as a simple parish priest, trying to spend time and be available with my people who are struggling and searching and trying to make sense of this. We seem to be obsessed with this taking. And the virus is allowing all of these tendencies and motivations within us to bubble up to the surface. And the challenge that we find ourselves in right now is to look at this particular question. Will we have the spiritual courage to actually do the inner work so that we can be transformed as a people, as individual persons who aren't autonomous, but are so connected with each other, so interdependent with each other? So many seem obsessed with taking. We Christians have an interesting perspective when it comes to the image of a strong leader. Looking again at Philippians 2, our leader was so strong that he gave his life for others, to be blunt. And that particular posture should convict us every day of our life and every moment of our life to consider, are we looking out for our own interests, or are we putting the interests of others before us and realizing our interconnection as one human community, that we rely on each other? So I offer that for your consideration as we step into this weekend and on this day when certain parts of our society are, quote, opening up, and so many people are afraid, especially the most vulnerable among us, those who are most at risk, those who have the most to lose. So I'll close by reading this once more as a way to invite us all into a meditative moment this weekend as we reflect on what it means to share our life together and to share the divine life during this Easter season. Let the same mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus, who, though he was in the form of God, did not regard equality with God as something to be exploited, but emptied himself, taking the form of a slave, and being born of human likeness. And being found in human form, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross. God's blessings be with all of you and be with all of us as we continue to share this space together during this uncertain time that's filled, yes, with anxiety and with fear, but also with enormous hope and a deep and growing sense of resilience and a transformative awareness of God's presence in our lives.